Long before I decided to start a YouTube channel or a blog, I would test and research my fragrances. So if you came by the house, it was normal for me to get your opinion on the fragrances that I was testing at that time. Smell this. What do you think about this one? Tell me what you get. I realized that I never got unsolicited feedback from the person who probably smelled me the most, the missus. So I asked one day, what do you think about the fragrances that I wear? And her answer, too powdery, too strong, too old manish, too old womanish. Alright, I can solve that. To the mall. Now the objective is to pick a fragrance that you would want me to smell like on a daily basis. So we go to the mall, we're smelling everything. Tom Ford, Chanel, Dior, YSL. Out of everything we smelled, we whittled it down to one fragrance. The fragrance that she picked for me to smell like on a day-to-day basis. Guilty by Gucci. Really? What's going on YouTube? Tony here. Welcome to episode 9 on the Post Points channel. And today we're going to tackle the infamous Gucci Guilty. This fragrance was released in 2011 by the House of Gucci, and the perfumer on this one is Jacques Huglier. Now he's the mastermind behind a lot of the Terry Mugler fragrances, specifically the Amen line. Amen, Pure Malt, Ultra Zest, Pure Havane. He's worked a lot with patchouli, and we'll get back to that later. So the bottle design is not bad. It's comes across kind of modern, futuristic. With that said, there's something about it that doesn't quite match for some reason. To me, it seems like it starts out one way and then just kind of changes. It kind of looks like a flask a little bit. Not sure why it looks disjointed, but it does come across modern and masculine. Now, as far as bottle sizes for this, you can find this in a 1 ounce, a 1.7 or 50 mil, a 3.3, and a 5 ounce. Now, retail for this is anywhere from, I would say, $55 all the way up to $90. This one is heavily discounted. You can find this in any of the online discount stores pretty easily. I wouldn't pay full price for this, even if you like it. You can get this at a big discount, and it's probably heavily faked too. The smell of this, up top you have an Amalfi lemon and lavender combo. In the mid you have white florals, specifically a orange blossom, and in the base you have a mix of patchouli, cedar, and vanilla. So off the top you get a very pleasant mixture of lemon and lavender. Now, I think this fragrance gets a lot of hate because if you think about lemon and lavender, those two fragrances are in everything. You know, laundry detergents, dish soap, hand soap, household cleaners, and it's pretty common also in fragrance in general. The combination of that isn't very inspiring. But what was a little bit surprising with this one is it actually was really smooth. I want to say it's the patchouli kind of in the background, even in the top. When you first spray this, it kind of gives it a distinctive smell, and I was actually surprised that it came across actually rather smooth. I was expecting for something to be poor quality, and I didn't get that. Pretty decent quality right off the bat. Pretty quickly, what you're going to lead into is the white floral aspect of this. I just recently reviewed a Francis Kirkjohn creation from MFK that utilizes white florals too, specifically orange blossom, and this one kind of gives you that vibe, although this one's not as refined or elegant. This one's a lot thicker, but it kind of gives you that same type of feel. When I smell this, it also reminds me of Artisan by John Varvatos. Has a similar floral in it. So that aspect of this fragrance too is kind of generic in the sense that white florals are kind of a go-to in men's fragrances. Now to me, once you get into the mid / dry down is where this fragrance actually turns a little more interesting. I was kind of surprised to see it. I'd say it kind of got sexy as the day went on. What you got in the base was this patchouli and vanilla starting to mix in with that white florals. The white floral aspect I'm not crazy about, but when the patchouli and vanilla mix kind of comes in, it almost turns into this slight gourmand fragrance. And not surprising to kind of see that DNA here if you look back at the Bugler House and some of Mr. Houclier's creations there utilizes that mix of patchouli to create gourmand scents, and I think he kind of done that in this one. If you think about, it's not a deep chocolate, it's more like if you've ever had chocolate that melted and you had some remnants maybe on your fingers, and it's just a very light chocolatey tinge to it. That's what it kind of smells like. I would imagine that this will be a good fragrance to wear to work, and then after that you're going to happy hour. It has that nighttime vibe, or if you're going on a date or something like that after work, I think this would be good for that. Now, the pros with this fragrance. The pros is it actually smells good. It actually performed well. It lasted on my skin all day. Wore it to work, came after work, ate dinner, and I could still smell it like pretty good on my hand without having to press my hand up against my nose, actually having it in the vicinity and actually still being able to smell it. To me, that's perfect. The cons, it is generic. It comes across generic. When I first smelled it, I actually thought about another fragrance that I own from Hugo Boss called Selection. Testing them side by side, they don't smell the same, but off the top I get the same vibe. They could be cousins, I say. You'll probably find it familiar, especially if you are someone who has smelled a lot of fragrances. It's probably not going to be very inspiring to you, but I think it's a people pleaser. My wife likes this. Even when testing this fragrance, she was like, "Oh, that smells really good." So it's not something that she kind of picked on the whim or was nose fatigue or anything. Like, she actually likes the way it smells. And when I was actually testing this, she brought that back up, not even knowing that I was testing to review this one. She's like, "Oh, I like that one." My final take with this fragrance is it's not a bad fragrance. It's not groundbreaking, but it's not as bad as some of the reviews I think I've read when doing my research for this review. To me, it's an aromatic fragrance that tried to go a little sexy in the end. To me, aromatics are like the vanilla of the fragrance game. They just smell like classic men's colognes. You can have a generic or quote-unquote vanilla scent and it still be good. I mean, Bluebell homemade vanilla is still good. Just not for everybody. If you're looking for something a little more inspiring, then maybe look somewhere else for this. But just want a solid, good smelling man fragrance. I think this will work for you, especially if you haven't smelled a whole bunch of different stuff. I think this will be a solid crowd-pleasing option for you. That's all I got. Please give me a thumbs up if you found this one entertaining, or if you found this information useful, and subscribe if you feel compelled to do so, and I will see you guys in episode 10. Peace. Smell this.